Hello everyone, Mike with Spray Jones, and we're going over sort of a viewer's request, which is spray foam and HVAC and ductwork. And it's a great question because it is overlooked and it has some technicalities to it. So let's get into it. Can the spray foam be applied to ductwork? Well, the answer is yes. However, you need to have approvals done in your jurisdiction. So going back 10 years ago, when we were doing a lot of foam in residential construction, at that time we did not have the approvals of the foam to go direct to ductwork, and the reason being is that there's laws in the building codes that govern smoke development, flame spread operation, and to really just call a spade, the building codes have not stayed up to date with what modern materials are. So the spray foam is more than safe, more than capable of doing it, but the codes had not made allowances for where the foam insulation could be installed. So as a result, we had to put some sort of a sacrificial layer. We had to put a duct wrap, or we had to put some cardboard or something, anything, to keep the spray foam from being in direct, intimate contact with the ducts. And this was very time consuming and just not really practical in a lot of cases. So we went back with our suppliers and their third-party testing groups, and they had a lot of additional testing on flame spread, on smoke development, on burn propensities, and tested the foam right out to 70 and 90 degrees centigrade of heat, and found that it was more than capable of dealing with the heat that would be in residential duct piping. So upon those approvals and upon those reports that were sealed, we then had everything submitted in our jurisdictions, and then that was it. They approved it, and then from that day forward we were able to put the spray foam directly to the ductwork, and it was end of story. From a practical standpoint of people that are building structures, yes, if you have the approvals or have a contractor in your area that has their product approved, then that is the absolute way to go for a couple of reasons. It locks on to the tin, the galvanized tin of the ductwork, very well. It seals it up. You have to make sure that when you are insulating ductwork that you're careful to get the foam to wrap all the way around 360 degrees, or construct it in such a way that if you can't get all the way around it, that you've closed it off. Because if you leave gaps in the ductwork and the ductwork is going to have cold air around it, then you're going to have an area where you can have condensation. So particularly if you have a floor up over top of a cold space, you have a bedroom, you have a bonus space over top of a garage, over top of an outdoor living area, and you have ductwork to there, you have to make sure that that ductwork is put up tight to the underside of the floor. And then from there, you want to wrap your spray foam from the floor around the duct and make sure that the duct is fully sealed and encapsulated on all sides. And that way the top side to the floor is encapsulated from the sides and the bottom. If you can't, if the ductwork is hanging down way low, you're either going to have to get it changed, or you're going to have to work very slow and meticulously to wrap the ducts. This becomes an issue with half-pound foam. If you are using a low-density open-cell foam, sometimes you do not have enough area to wrap the ducts and get a build-up of thickness, and then still have enough room to put drywall, depending on where the framing is, and the floor joists, or the wall joists or wall studs are going to be. And if you start shaving things, and maybe sometimes you're down to half an inch or an inch, inch and a half, that's where closed cell foam works really, really well. The half-pound foam, the advantage is if there's any problems with the ductwork, you can rip it out with your bare hands, and then you can reinstall things. Whereas the closed cell stuff, once it's on there for life, and you're going to have to sawzall everything apart to get it apart if you need to be. I have encountered very, very few situations where ductwork was installed, it was spray foamed, and then later it needed to be changed. So don't trick yourself into thinking that this is something that happens frequently. It's more common that a water line or a drain line has become plugged or broken by somebody else's work, and they've noticed it after the foam, than the foam to actually do any damage or anything to that matter. And only once did I ever have in-floor heating lines installed. We sprayed over top of them to encapsulate them, and then a tradesperson punched a drill bit or a nail or something through and punctured one of the lines. Yeah, so they had to go in and cut all the foam out, replace the line, find the line where it was broken, and then get it resprayed in. But that's been 1 in 14 years. So ductwork being sprayed is a good way to go. It seals everything up very nice. It keeps the ducts from being rattly and tinny. Condensation can be eliminated if they're sprayed correctly. Keeps the ducts very, very warm. Keeps the floor very warm. And in commercial settings, it can be just an exceptional way to treat rooftop units and what have you. Although if you're on the outside of the building, you're going to have to put some sort of protective coating over the foam to keep the ultraviolet light off of it. So good way to go, but you have got to have your approvals in place. Do not start spraying the ductwork without having your suppliers' paperwork in order, and then have the authorities having jurisdiction in your areas approve of it, because if you do not, they will not approve of it, and then they'll make you dig it out, and you'll be looking at thousands upon thousands of dollars of replacing that ductwork and cleaning all the foam off, and you'll look like a horse's rear. So I hope this helps. Comment, like, and subscribe. Stay tuned. I'm keeping more videos coming, and keep bringing your suggestions as to what you'd like to see.